The door closed with a quiet finality, the porch light extinguishing seconds later. I stood there, rain plastering my hair to my face, staring at the darkened windows of the only home I'd ever known. Through the living room curtains, I could see them already, resuming their lives, already forgetting I existed. My name is Olivia. I'm 27 and a medical entrepreneur. This is the story of how I rebuilt my life from the ashes. They left me in. That night, 6 years ago, I had exactly $4,327 in my wallet and nowhere to go. I'd worked part-time at our family's medical clinic through college, handling paperwork and scheduling, always for experience, never for pay. My father controlled everything: my bank account, my tuition, my housing. And now, because I'd questioned his shady billing practices, I had nothing. For 3 nights, I slept in a 24-hour laundromat, 6 blocks from my parents' house, washing the same clothes over and over to justify my presence. During the day, I applied for jobs on the public library's computers. I was a Carter. I had the education, the pedigree, the knowledge. But without references or official experience, doors closed in my face. On the fourth day, exhaustion and hunger drove me to Fiona's diner, where I counted out coins for the cheapest thing on the menu. Fiona Wallace, the owner, brought me soup instead of the plain toast I'd ordered. Her sharp, assessing eyes took in my unwashed hair and wrinkled clothes. "You're Gregory Carter's girl, aren't you?" she asked, sliding into the booth across from me. I stiffened, bracing for judgment. The Carters were respected in our community. Who would believe I'd been thrown away? Instead, Fiona leaned forward. "That man ruined my sister's physical therapy practice with his insurance scams. Drove her right out of business." She pushed the soup toward me. "Eat. Then we'll talk about the job opening I have." That soup was my first warm meal in days. The waitressing job that followed was my first step toward independence. I worked double shifts, saved every penny, and slept on a cot in Fiona's storage room. Within months, I'd saved enough to rent a tiny studio apartment. Within a year, I'd earned a scholarship to finish my business degree. I never took a cent from my family again. I didn't contact them, but I watched from a distance. Victoria graduated from medical school with honors, joined our father's practice, and got engaged to Dr. James Patterson, the hospital's rising star surgeon. My parents expanded their clinic to 3 locations, their reputation and wealth growing in tandem. They didn't know I was building something too. Using the knowledge I'd gained from years in their clinic, I developed a medical nutrition supplement line to address gaps in patient care. I secured investors, patents, and finally a distribution deal with national medical suppliers, the same company that stocked my father's clinics. By 27, I was CEO of Carter Medical Nutrition, deliberately using the family name they thought I'd tarnished. My company was valued at $12 million, and I was about to become their biggest competitor. They had no idea until today. The invitation to Victoria's engagement party arrived by mistake, addressed to current resident at my old apartment, and forwarded twice before reaching me. I recognized my mother's handwriting instantly, the elegant loops and precise angles unchanged after 6 years. Bell Harbor Hotel. Saturday, 7 p.m. Black tie optional. I stood in my penthouse office, the heavy card trembling slightly in my hand, as my assistant, Nora, walked in with the day's reports. "Everything okay?" she asked, noticing my expression. "Yes," I said, already forming a plan. Clear my Saturday evening and call Diane in PR. We're moving up the announcement of our hospital partnership. When Nora left, I opened my laptop and pulled up a file I'd been building for years. Every questionable billing code from my father's clinic, every falsified insurance claim, every charge for procedures that never happened. Most damning of all, tax records showing they'd been using my social security number to hide assets long after they'd thrown me out. 6 years of methodical documentation. 6 years waiting for the perfect moment. While I'd worked at the clinic, I'd copied documents showing irregularities, insurance forms that didn't match patient records, duplicate billings. After I was cast out, I kept in quiet contact with Maria, the longtime bookkeeper, who'd always been kind to me and was growing uneasy about what she was seeing. Through discreet monthly coffee meetings, I gathered evidence while building my business network. Saturday night, I arrived at the Bell Harbor Hotel at 7:32 p.m. Late enough for everyone to be there, early enough for maximum impact. The doorman recognized my name from the approved vendor list. I'd arranged a champagne delivery that would never arrive. Earlier that week, posing as my mother's assistant, I'd had my company added to the hotel's vendor roster. I wore a simple black dress, elegant, forgettable, nothing to draw attention until I wanted it. My heels clicked against the marble as I approached the ballroom. Through the open doors, I saw them. My family, unchanged yet unfamiliar. My father, silver-haired and commanding, holding court with hospital administrators. My mother, draped in diamonds, orchestrating the perfect event. Victoria, radiant in white, clinging to James' arm as they accepted congratulations. The perfect family portrait. The perfect lie. I stepped through the doorway. The first person to notice me wasn't my family. It was James. His champagne glass froze halfway to his lips, his face draining of color as our eyes locked. Recognition, then panic, flashed across his features. Interesting. Victoria followed his gaze, her smile faltering, as confusion, then shock, crept over her face. She whispered something urgent to our mother, who turned slowly, her practiced smile slipping, just enough to reveal the rage beneath. "Olivia," my mother said, her voice carrying just enough to draw attention from nearby guests. "You weren't invited." Conversations quieted. The air thickened with curiosity as guests sensed drama. I smiled, not warmly, but precisely. The words struck me like physical blows, each syllable landing with cold precision. "You're not our problem anymore." My father's voice was steady, businesslike, the same tone he used when dismissing employees from his medical practice. My mother stood beside him in the doorway of our family home, her diamond earrings catching the porch light as she examined her manicured nails. Behind them, my sister Victoria's face appeared, her eyes bright with triumph as she watched our parents discard me like yesterday's trash. The small suitcase they'd allowed me to pack sat pitifully at my feet in the deepening darkness. "But I'm your daughter," I whispered, my voice cracking as the rain began to fall, soaking through my thin jacket. "I'm your firstborn." My father glanced at his Rolex, impatience tightening his jaw. "You're 21, Olivia. An adult. You're clearly not Carter material." He cast a look at Victoria, 19. Never worked a day in her life. Unlike me. A scalpel of a smile. "Hello, mother." "Father." I nodded to each, ignoring Victoria entirely. "Congratulations on the engagement." My father stepped forward, blocking me from view of the others. His voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. "What are you doing here? You need to leave now." I tilted my head. "Is that any way to greet your firstborn? The one whose social security number you've been using for tax fraud the past 6 years?" His expression hardened, but I caught the flicker of fear in his eyes. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't you?" I opened my clutch, pulling out a USB drive. "The IRS is very interested in discussing it, as is the insurance commissioner." I turned to James, whose complexion now had a greenish tinge. "And I imagine the hospital board will have questions about your role in falsified research trials." Victoria stepped forward, her white dress rustling. "You're making this up," she hissed, though her voice lacked conviction. "Just like always. You're jealous because I'm the successful one, the one they're proud of." I laughed, a genuine, sharp sound that unsettled them more than anger could have. "Successful? Is that what you call fraud?" "Enough." My father's voice was sharp, commanding. "Once enough to make me cower. This is your sister's engagement party. Whatever grievances you think I have?" I cut in, my voice calm but carrying. "Dr. Winters," I called out, addressing the hospital's chief of medicine standing nearby. "Were you aware the Carter Clinic has been billing for procedures never performed? Or that Victoria here never completed her residency?" Dr. Winters frowned, stepping closer. "What are you saying?" "She's saying nothing," my mother said smoothly. "Our daughter has delusions. We've tried to help her." "Delusions?" I echoed. "Let's see what the state medical board calls them." I pulled up an email on my phone and handed it to Dr. Winters. "This was sent an hour ago. An official investigation has been opened." As he read, his expression darkened. He looked up at my father, then Victoria, betrayal sharp in his gaze. "Gregory, is this true?" My father's hand trembled slightly as he reached for his drink. "Of course not. She's lying. She's always been troubled." Victoria gripped James' arm. "Tell them, James. Tell them she's making this up." But James stared at the floor. "I didn't know," he said quietly. "Not at first." "I swear I didn't know." The ballroom had gone silent, every eye fixed on us. My mother's composure cracked, desperation bleeding through. "This is ridiculous," she snapped to the guests. "Please, everyone, enjoy the party. This is just a family matter. We need to—" "It's not just a family matter," came a new voice from the entrance. A man in a dark suit stepped forward. "Gregory and Margaret Carter. I'm Agent Harlow with the IRS Criminal Investigation Division. We'd like to ask you a few questions." Two more agents and a representative from the state medical board followed. Over the past year, I'd built relationships with regulatory agencies. Anonymous tips at first, then my full identity once the evidence was airtight. The IRS was especially interested in the tax fraud involving my social security number. My father went pale. My mother clutched at her pearls. Victoria turned to me, her perfect makeup streaked with tears. "Olivia, please. You can't do this. We're family." I looked at her, really looked, and felt nothing but emptiness. Where hurt used to live. We were never family. Family doesn't throw people away. As the agents led my parents toward a side room, Victoria collapsed into a chair, her engagement party unraveling. James stood apart, already stepping away from the coming scandal. I had discovered his part in the falsified research through Maria, who'd found billing records for patients charged in trials that existed only on paper, trials listing James as principal investigator. I turned to leave, my purpose fulfilled, when Victoria's voice followed me. Small, broken. What happens now? I paused at the doorway. Now you learn to build something real, just like I had to. Outside, the night air felt clean. Nora waited by the car. Is it done? She asked. I nodded. It's done. The press release about our hospital partnership goes out at midnight, she reminded me. Are you sure about the timing? Absolutely, I said, sliding into the car. By morning, everyone will know Carter Medical Nutrition is launching in every major hospital in the state, except my father's, which will be too busy dealing with fraud charges to care. Reservations still good at Eloise's if you want to celebrate. I shook my head. No, take me home. I just want quiet tonight. Later, standing on my penthouse balcony, overlooking the glittering city, I thought about that frightened girl in the rain 6 years ago, the one who believed family meant something, the one who had to learn the hard way that sometimes you build your own foundation when others tear yours down. My phone buzzed. A text from Fiona. Heard the news. Proud of you, kid. We'd remained close over the years. She became both mentor and surrogate mother. Her belief in me had been my first real foundation. I smiled, thinking of her sister, whose business my father destroyed, of the dozens of victims who would now see justice. Revenge wasn't my primary goal. Success was. But justice made success sweeter. Sometimes family isn't who you're born to. It's who stands beside you when you start from nothing. My company would grow. My parents would likely face charges. Victoria would learn who she was without, the family myth propping her up. And me, I was exactly who I'd made myself to be. Not despite them, but because of what they'd done. In casting me out, they'd given me the one thing they never intended, the freedom to become more than just another Carter. I raised my glass to the city below. To building something real, I whispered, to no one and to everyone. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction, it's creation.